Hi everybody, this is SAAD. Yesterday I posted a SAAD Truth clip wherein I reported that a trans woman, i.e. a biological male, won a women's world championship in cycling. And I weighed in on whether this is a fair reality that someone can identify as female even though they possess all of the physiological, morphological, anatomical, hormonal advantages associated with such a sporting event and declared himself a woman, and then win if there are 100 competitors who participated, 99 of whom were actual biological females or women who trained hard to have a fair shot and lost because they lost to a biological male, notwithstanding the quote rights of this person to proclaim themselves quite arrogantly on Twitter that she is the first trans world champion ever. Is it fair to the 99 other women? So again, when you look at fairness in terms of how it is meted out to the greatest number of people, if 99% are severely violated in their pursuits so that you can celebrate your personhood, is that fair? Is that moral? Is that ethical? And let us hope that one day soon it'll be illegal to do that. But in any case, what I wanted to do today is give you some updates on what has transpired with the story. So I wrote to the world champion in question, "Dear Dr. At Rachel V. McKinnon, I appreciate your desire to fight for fairness when it comes to transgender rights. Do you think, though, that the biological women who lost against you have a right to feel aggrieved when a biological male beats them in a women's competition? Or do you think that the behavioral, anatomical, physiological, morphological, and hormonal advantages that men possess over women in such competitions are mere social constructions imposed by the transphobic patriarchy? I'd be happy to chat with you on my show, The SAAD Truth." Any reasonable person would think that this was a very polite invitation. And by the way, when I referred to the quote transphobic patriarchy, that is precisely the line of argumentation that is used by such folks, namely that it's not true that men have an advantage in the said domains, anatomical, morphological, physiological, hormonal, etc. That's just a transphobic statement that is imposed, of course, by the patriarchy, which of course is ruled by sexist white males. And so I simply took the position that is repeatedly stated by such folks in support of their positions, and I said, hey, why don't you come on my show? You couldn't be any more polite than I was. No jabs, no, I read you exactly the wording of the invitation. What do you think the person in question did? By the way, who's a professor, who is supposedly an expert in this area. Now, this so-called professor certainly has a much, much, much smaller platform than mine. And so offering her a platform, and by the way, I don't know if it's her or they or Xir, so I don't want to, so let's just call her, even though she self-identifies as a woman, maybe she doesn't believe in all this binary, nonsense, male and female. So let's call her they, because I want to be safe and respectful. So if they wants to spread the truth about how veridical her position is, the veracity of her arguments, then they would certainly want to jump on this invitation. For, as you know, I've spoken to countless people on my show, even though I can be quite tough when I go after someone. When I invite someone as a guest, I'm very respectful, very polite, very friendly, precisely because you can't ultimately invite people and berate them and scream at them and insult them. And so everybody would know that I'm going to be very polite and restrained in my conversation. And so they could have accepted my invitation or could have said, hey, sorry, Professor Saad, I'm currently busy. Thank you for the invitation. What do you think they did? Blocked me. So I simply wrote to they asking, hey, what do you think about having a conversation about what some folks might be thinking, what these other women that you competed against might be thinking? Come on my show and let's discuss it. They blocks me. That's what intellectual terrorism is. Now, of course, undoubtedly, they went off because I'm blocked and said that, I'm a Nazi, maybe I'm a Jew hater, the Jew hater, maybe I'm a white supremacist, the Lebanese guy. Who knows? But then I decided, therefore, to use my much higher oppression uh, victimology score. I hold the big hand in victimology poker. So I wrote, why did Rachel McKinnon blocked me merely for politely inviting they for a chat on my show? Is they anti-Semitic? I'm Jewish. Or possibly Arabophobic? I'm Lebanese. Or perhaps they hate people of slight size, or worse, they hate war refugees with olive skin. Why the hate? You see how you flip the script? Should I start tagging they's university about the hate implicit to having blocked me simply because I'm an olive-skinned person of size, war refugee Lebanese Jew? And then what else did I say? Let me see. To quote world champion Rachel McKinnon, you might want to read this comment, and I'll read it to you in a second. This was posted on my clip yesterday. Countless transgendered people and transsexuals strongly disapprove of biological males competing in women's competitions. You are on the wrong side of justice, ethics, and fair play. Deep down, you know it. And here is the message. Hey Gad, I'm a post-op transsexual, not transgender, and I have opposed this move from the get-go, meaning biological males self-identifying as women and then entering women's sports and squashing everybody. It is an easy route for all mediocre men to become outstanding women. Postmodernists hate sport, of course, and this is merely the opening salvo in a battle to destroy all sports completely. How can we all have equality of outcome in a competitive arena? This situation shall worsen considerably. How can it be stopped? Well, it can be stopped by people saying no to it. It can be stopped in the way that I've now taken time from my very busy schedule to make these videos. The first thing I did after I got off the elliptical this morning is, comb my hair and do this clip. Everybody has got a voice. Everybody can say, no, I will not partake in this collective departure from reason. People who have gender identity issues should not be discriminated against. No problem. Any reasonable, fair person would agree to that. People who have gender identity disorders don't have the right to then squash the rights of everyone else because, celebrate my personhood. I warned about this during my Canadian Senate testimony when I referred to the tyranny of the minority. So, for example, having the Canadian government now issue gender-neutral documents because, what about non-binary people? No. 99.999% of people do identify as male or female, are cis-normative. Therefore, that all of our biological basic definition of our identities be removed so that we can cater to those who don't identify as binary is wrong.